Have you ever wondered if there's a simple, time-tested way to live vibrantly well into your 80s, 90s, or even beyond 100? So often, we assume that good health at a very advanced age is either a lucky accident or the result of overly complex and expensive interventions. Yet there are individuals who prove that healthy longevity can be achieved through accessible, straightforward habits that anyone can adopt. One such example is Dr. James Chen, a 92-year-old physician in Boston who still sees patients at his Beacon Hill office twice a month. Not only does he maintain his medical practice, but he also exemplifies an active and fulfilling lifestyle that defies society's typical expectations of people in their 10th decade of life. Many of his patients have entrusted him with their healthcare needs for decades, and they frequently remark that he seems more energetic and mentally sharp than many individuals who are several decades younger. In interviews and casual conversations, Dr. Chen never implies that his enduring good health is the result of a mystery or that it's exclusive to certain special people. Instead, he emphasizes the importance of small, consistent habits that most of us overlook or eventually take for granted. Over his 65 years of medical practice, he has identified two often neglected parts of the body that are crucial for health and energy. When people first hear that he focuses on feet and underarms, they might raise an eyebrow or dismiss these areas as too trivial to merit serious attention. But as Dr. Chen points out, feet and armpits, when properly cared for, can do wonders for our overall circulation, detoxification, and resilience against common ailments. By combining modern science with long-standing cultural wisdom, he shows that anyone, young, old, or in between, can boost their vitality through simple, down-to-earth routines. According to Dr. Chen, it all begins with your feet. He likes to describe them as the root system of your body. Without healthy, strong, and well-circulated feet, he says, you risk jeopardizing your entire physical structure. This isn't simply an opinion. Harvard Medical School's research supports the notion that regular foot care can reduce the risk of cardiovascular issues in people over 60 by as much as 35%. Dr. Chen points out that when you spend just a few minutes each day tending to your feet, you're activating a chain reaction of benefits throughout the entire body. Our feet carry us through life, absorb the impact of our daily routines, and form our most fundamental link to balance and mobility. Yet we often tend to forget about them unless they begin to hurt. It's only then, when we notice foot pain, swelling, or persistent coldness, that we realize how pivotal they are to our overall well-being. Many of Dr. Chen's patients bring up examples that reinforce his teachings on foot care. One person, John, had been dealing with chronic fatigue and bouts of insomnia for months when he finally decided to see Dr. Chen. John had visited multiple specialists who checked for thyroid issues, heart problems, and other conditions, yet everything came back normal. After a routine exam, Dr. Chen noticed John's feet were consistently cold, suggesting poor circulation. By integrating a simple daily foot routine, one that included warm soaks, thorough cleaning, gentle massage, and moisturizing, John's circulation improved noticeably. Within 3 months, John started sleeping better, experienced higher energy levels, and reported feeling more physically comfortable day to day. According to Dr. Chen, this story isn't an outlier. In his decades of medical practice, he's seen similar turnarounds more times than he can count. So how exactly does Dr. Chen suggest we care for our feet? Although each person's exact needs can vary, he offers a straightforward set of steps that nearly everyone can follow. To begin, he recommends soaking the feet in warm water, never scalding, but warm enough to increase circulation, for 3 to 5 minutes. This softens the skin and prepares it for gentle cleaning. He emphasizes the use of mild soap rather than harsh detergents that can strip the skin's natural oils. Special attention should be paid to the spaces between the toes, as these tight crevices can trap moisture and eventually encourage the growth of bacteria or fungi. After cleaning, thorough drying is essential to prevent lingering dampness that can lead to skin infections. Next comes what Dr. Chen considers the key step, a simple massage. He instructs people to press the thumb into the sole of the foot, working from the center out toward the heel, or from the arch toward the outer edges, depending on where tension seems to gather. The motion should be deliberate but gentle enough to feel pleasant rather than painful. Historically, many cultures have recognized the presence of important acupressure or reflexology points on the feet. Modern science has increasingly validated the idea that foot massage can improve circulation, lower stress, and possibly even support immune function. In 2023, A Mayo Clinic study found that older adults who incorporated routine foot care into their daily lives demonstrated better balance, fewer falls, and improved overall mobility. Some participants also reported fewer colds and better general resilience, supporting the idea that proper foot maintenance is more than just a cosmetic concern. Dr. Chen loves to offer a metaphor to highlight the importance of foot care. Just as a tree needs healthy roots to draw nutrients from the soil, the human body relies on healthy feet for stability, circulation, and overall energetic equilibrium. Neglecting foot care is akin to letting a tree's roots dry out or become infested with pests. Eventually, the entire structure suffers. This is particularly critical for older adults, whose circulation can naturally diminish with age. The right foot care regimen can counteract that slowdown, helping people maintain the mobility and sense of balance that enable them to remain independent and active far into their senior years. Dr. Chen also talks about the importance of using quality tools. For instance, a gentle exfoliating brush can help remove dry skin. Non-slip bath mats lower the risk of slipping when you're tending to your feet in the tub or shower. Hydrating creams or lotions applied right after washing can prevent painful cracked heels and keep the skin supple. Meanwhile, comfortable, well-fitted orthopedic shoes can do wonders for posture and the prevention of foot deformities like bunions or hammer toes. These simple measures might sound too obvious to matter, but Dr. Chen insists that it's the consistency of small steps that add up to big differences over time. Over the years, Dr. Chen has seen how transformative these suggestions can be. He recalls a patient named Margaret who, at 78, was plagued by severe foot pain that limited her daily movement. Margaret worried she would be forced into a sedentary lifestyle, resigning herself to mostly sitting around her home. But Dr. Chen guided her through a regimen of regular foot cleaning, massaging, and moisturizing, plus the use of properly fitting footwear. Within just a few weeks, Margaret's pain subsided enough for her to resume moderate walks around her neighborhood. By the time she turned 82, she was so enthusiastic about these newfound benefits that she began leading walking groups for other seniors, showing them simple foot care techniques and motivating them to stay physically active. Her personal story resonated with many, inspiring them to take foot care more seriously and leading to a collective rise in mobility and energy among her neighbors. But Dr. Chen also cautions that some individuals, such as those with diabetes or other conditions leading to weak circulation, need to be extra vigilant. For those with neuropathy, it may be more difficult to feel temperature extremes or detect small cuts and blisters. Dr. Chen advises testing bath water with the elbow to ensure it's not too hot, carefully examining the feet daily for any signs of injury, and consulting a healthcare provider promptly if anything unusual appears. This vigilance pays off handsomely because early detection and intervention can prevent small foot problems from snowballing into infections or ulcers. Beyond foot care, Dr. Chen draws attention to another commonly overlooked but critically important area, the armpits. While people often associate underarms with deodorant and trying to manage sweat or odor, he emphasizes that the armpits serve as a key gateway for detoxification. Underneath the skin in this region lie lymph nodes that help filter toxins and coordinate immune responses. Research from Stanford Medical Center and various immunology journals indicates that proper armpit hygiene can significantly enhance lymphatic flow, sometimes boosting it by as much as 40%. This means your body's ability to flush out waste products, fight infections, and handle external threats becomes far more efficient. Dr. Chen shares an illustrative case involving a 70-year-old patient named Helen who struggled with frequent respiratory infections. Colds and bouts of bronchitis would strike her multiple times a year, leaving her feeling perpetually run down. Over time, Dr. Chen noticed that Helen's underarm hygiene could be improved. She used strong, aluminum-based antiperspirants daily, scrubbed her underarms quite aggressively, and was unaware of the significance of the lymphatic network in that area. Dr. Chen recommended a new care routine that included gentler cleansers, careful drying, and a shift away from chemical-heavy antiperspirants to natural alternatives like baking soda or mineral salts. Within a few months, Helen not only reported fewer colds, but also felt that her energy levels had improved. The mechanism isn't mysterious. According to Dr. Chen, the lymph nodes in the armpits play a huge role in filtering pathogens and toxins from the fluid that courses through our bodies. When they are cared for properly, meaning they're not blocked by synthetic chemicals or irritated by harsh scrubbing, they can do their job more effectively. This improved lymphatic circulation, he says, can lend significant support to cardiovascular health as well, because the lymph and blood circulatory systems are deeply interlinked. To maintain healthy underarms, Dr. Chen suggests a three-step approach that mirrors his foot care guidelines in its simplicity and consistency. The first step is gentle cleansing, using mild, fragrance-free soap that won't inflame the sensitive skin or disrupt your natural microbiome. He recommends washing with light circular motions, working from the outer edges of the armpit inward, not only to remove sweat and bacteria, but also to stimulate blood flow. The second step involves thorough drying to stave off bacterial growth. Any lingering moisture can lead to odor, infections, or reduce lymphatic function. Finally, he advocates for natural deodorants over aluminum-based antiperspirants because aluminum salts can block sweat ducts and potentially hinder the normal lymphatic process. This doesn't mean you have to tolerate intense body odor. Many natural formulations, including mineral-based sprays or creams with gentle essential oils, can keep odor at bay without compromising your body's natural detoxification. Another essential element Dr. Chen brings up is lymphatic massage. It's something most people never even think about, but he insists that even a short, gentle daily massage can bring benefits. Placing your hand in the armpit area and using light strokes that move from the armpit toward the collarbone can encourage better lymph drainage, alleviate tension around the shoulders, and over time, may reduce fluid retention in the upper body. He recounts a story of a 68-year-old patient named Robert who constantly felt tension in his shoulders and upper back. After adopting a more careful underarm care routine, plus shifting to a natural deodorant, he spent a couple of minutes each morning massaging around his armpits and shoulders. Robert reported improved shoulder mobility and a general decrease in day-to-day fatigue. This made a difference not just physically but also in his mental outlook. Feeling less tightness in his upper body lessened his stress and boosted his enthusiasm for daily activities. Dr. Chen also warns people to pay attention to any persistent armpit soreness, lumps, or changes in skin texture, advising them to seek medical attention if those symptoms persist. Early detection is critical because the underarm region is studded with lymph nodes that can swell or become reactive to infections or other serious health conditions. By checking this area regularly in a gentle, non-alarmed way, you're maintaining awareness of your body state and can promptly respond if something seems off. He offers additional general recommendations for underarm care, such as rinsing with cool water to help tighten pores and discourage bacterial growth. In hot weather, he advises a few extra cleansing sessions each day to keep the area fresh. Right before bed, he suggests thoroughly cleansing and allowing the skin to remain product-free, letting it breathe overnight for optimal detoxification. Although these suggestions may sound basic, Dr. Chen underscores that adopting them consistently can bring subtle but real improvements to energy and overall well-being. From Dr. Chen's perspective, foot care and underarm care aren't just two random items on a list of health hacks. They're part of a broader holistic approach to healthy aging. To him, this overarching perspective also includes maintaining positive family and social relationships, safeguarding financial stability, and managing stress appropriately. While foot and armpit care address very physical components of well-being, he notes that mental and emotional factors play a huge role in how you feel as you grow older. He reminds people that living a long life is only worthwhile if it's also fulfilling and balanced, which includes having healthy relationships and a sense of purpose. Dr. Chen has compiled a set of 8 common mistakes that he sees older adults making, mistakes that can undermine their overall health and happiness in the later decades of life. The first mistake is failing to say no when necessary. He's noticed that many of his senior patients have a nurturing instinct or a desire to be helpful to friends and family, but this kindness can be taken advantage of by manipulative individuals. Dr. Chen cites the case of Chen, an older gentleman who was more than happy to offer financial help to a younger man who seemed to be struggling, only to end up being robbed when he let his guard down. It's a stark reminder to protect your boundaries, not out of cynicism or paranoia, but out of recognition that safety and self-care matter at every age. The second mistake Dr. Chen warns against is excessive optimism or unchecked tolerance. He sees this frequently in close relationships, romantic or familial, where one person continues to hope that another individual's toxic behavior will magically improve, despite repeated disappointments or even betrayals. Dr. Chen believes in optimism, but not at the expense of self-esteem or mental health. He suggests balanced realism, pointing out that if a person's harmful behavior hasn't changed after clear communication and reasonable compassion, it might be necessary to step away for your own well-being. A third pitfall is choosing friends poorly. Dr. Chen reminds us that the value of true friendship becomes more significant as we grow older, especially because social circles can shrink as people relocate, retire, or deal with health challenges. He advises focusing on relationships that bring genuine joy, support, and shared values, rather than clinging to superficial or toxic ties out of habit or fear of loneliness. People who genuinely celebrate your successes, offer authentic empathy in tough times, and respect your individuality are priceless, no matter your age. A fourth oversight, which dovetails with a third, involves paying insufficient attention to your inner circle. While it can be tempting to maintain a broad acquaintance network, Dr. Chen emphasizes the importance of a handful of reliable, sincere people you can truly trust. Whether that's a partner, a child, a neighbor, or an old friend, having even one or two confidants can significantly enhance emotional security. Toxic connections can drain your mental and emotional energy, jeopardizing your physical health indirectly. Although he encourages forgiveness and patience, he cautions that setting healthy boundaries is often necessary. Fifth on his list of missteps is neglecting financial stability. Dr. Chen sees financial independence as a cornerstone of personal confidence. Being beholden to others for medical expenses or general living costs can create an undercurrent of stress that weighs down on mental and physical health. He shares examples of older patients who postponed essential treatments because they felt guilty about burdening family members with costs. By thinking ahead, saving diligently, and making prudent financial choices, you can preserve your autonomy and ensure you can access the care you need when you need it. His sixth caution is to treasure your health above all else because it's the foundation that influences all other aspects of life, especially as the years march on. He regularly advises his patients to maintain moderate physical activity, be that walking, swimming, yoga, or whatever is appropriate and enjoyable for them. He also stresses the importance of balanced nutrition, adequate rest, and mental calm. As people age, preventive care becomes even more crucial. Regular checkups, timely treatments for small issues before they escalate, and mindful attention to diet can help you remain robust and independent well into your later years. Dr. Chen tells his patients that it's not just about living longer, but living better, preserving the energy that allows you to enjoy time with grandchildren, travel, pursue hobbies, and continue to contribute to the community in ways that resonate with you. Seventh, he advocates for tolerance and patience within family relationships, noting that misunderstandings or frictions can arise when older adults accidentally impose their perspectives on younger relatives. Some seniors may fall into the habit of excessive criticizing, lecturing, or repeating advice to adult children or grandchildren who simply don't want it. Dr. Chen finds that a little empathy goes a long way. Remember what it was like to be a stressed-out young parent or a teenager grappling with life's uncertainties. Cultivating a sense of understanding, love, and compassion makes for stronger, happier family bonds, which in turn can improve everyone's overall well-being. Eighth and finally, he reminds older adults not to worry obsessively about their descendants. There's a time and place for guidance and support, but adult children and grandchildren need to navigate their own paths in life. Dr. Chen believes that part of being a good mentor, whether as a parent, grandparent, or trusted elder figure, lies in allowing younger people the space to make their own decisions, including mistakes. He encourages seniors to offer wisdom but not control, sharing moral lessons like humility, responsibility, and self-discipline without micromanaging. By exemplifying a balanced, healthy, and harmonious lifestyle, you teach them far more than constant instructions ever could. When you weave all of these threads together, foot care, underarm care, wise boundaries, healthy financial planning, strong family bonds, and measured optimism, you get a comprehensive tapestry of healthy aging, according to Dr. Chen. He insists that most of these practices are straightforward and cost very little. The greatest investment is time and consistency. And while some people might dismiss daily foot soaks or mindful armpit hygiene as trivial, Dr. Chen's decades of experience plus the supportive research from reputable institutions like Harvard Medical School, Stanford Medical Center, and the Mayo Clinic suggest otherwise. These little routines, repeated each day, can yield significant dividends in vitality, flexibility, and mental clarity. People who have spent years under Dr. Chen's guidance often remark on how these practices seem to radiate outward. A short foot massage before bed, for example, can lead to better sleep, which in turn leads to better mood, sharper memory, and a healthier metabolism the next day. Cleaner, more naturally tended armpits might make someone feel more comfortable and confident, which can lead to better interactions in social settings or a willingness to exercise more. Protecting your personal boundaries reduces stress, which can help reduce inflammation and chronic anxiety. Over time, each of these incremental improvements can compound, shaping a remarkably robust mind and body in your 70s, 80s, and 90s and beyond. Dr. Chen also addresses the psychological dimension of self-care. He notes that adopting these practices can signal to yourself and to others that your well-being is a priority. Far too often, older adults slide into a mindset of, it's too late for me, or I don't deserve this kind of attention. But by nurturing your feet or your underarms, you're reinforcing a message of respect for your body's innate ability to heal and thrive. That self-respect is contagious. Family members might see you prioritizing your health and be inspired to do the same. It shifts an entire household's dynamic from one of neglect or resignation to one of active participation in health maintenance. He encourages people to see foot care not as a tedious chore, but as an opportunity to reconnect with their bodies. In the same way, approaching underarm care can be a moment to reflect on gratitude for the immune system that works quietly day in and day out. These few minutes spent each morning or night can double as a form of mindfulness, a brief respite from the hustle and bustle of daily life, and a chance to center oneself. While many think of mindfulness as something you do on a meditation cushion, Dr. Chen believes it can be integrated into everyday tasks, including these small self-care rituals. Likewise, paying attention to each of the 8 mistakes, learning to say no, avoiding excessive optimism, choosing friends wisely, nurturing your inner circle, ensuring financial stability, treasuring your health, practicing tolerance in family relationships, and releasing excessive worries can be transformative when done conscientiously. It's not about living in fear or distancing yourself from everyone. It's about creating clear emotional and practical boundaries, safeguarding your resources, both emotional and financial, and fostering the kind of community that uplifts you. He recounts a story about an older patient who felt guilty every time she put herself first, worried that she was being selfish. Dr. Chen explained that there's a stark difference between destructive self-centeredness and healthy self-preservation. By taking better care of yourself, you're likely to extend your years of independence, reduce the burden on your family, and maintain a positive spirit that enriches the lives of those around you. In essence, good self-care can be the most generous thing you do for your loved ones because it keeps you well enough to remain engaged in their lives without becoming a drain on their emotional or physical resources. As Dr. Chen's patients apply his foot and underarm routines, they often start noticing the subtle changes: an easier time standing in the kitchen while cooking, less joint stiffness when waking up, fewer skin irritations or fungal infections, or even a surprising lift in mood. Some individuals, who once believed that being older meant inevitable aches and pains, report feeling more agile and younger once they address these fundamental aspects of their daily care. It might seem improbable if you've never tried it, but Dr. Chen's loyal following attests to the power of these gentle methods. Indeed, the fact that he himself is 92 years old and still active in his practice serves as a testament to the validity of his recommendations. Another intriguing side note Dr. Chen occasionally mentions is that these foot and armpit routines can also enhance one's spiritual or meditative practices, if that's part of a person's life. He has worked with patients who practice Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, or regular prayer sessions, and they find that better circulation in their feet allows them to stand or sit more comfortably for these activities. Good lymphatic flow in the underarms contributes to a sense of lightness in the upper torso, making deep breathing and postural alignment easier. While Dr. Chen's methods are grounded in science, he remains open to the idea that caring for our bodies in these simple, consistent ways can resonate with deeper levels of well-being, whether you call that spiritual or merely holistic. For those who might feel overwhelmed trying to adopt new routines all at once, Dr. Chen recommends starting small, maybe a quick foot soak each evening, or a gentle cleansing and massage of the underarms each morning. Once you experience some benefits, you can expand to more thorough sessions. The key, he reiterates, is being consistent rather than perfect. Doing something beneficial for yourself 3 or 4 times a week is better than not doing it at all. Over time, you'll likely find yourself enjoying these moments of self-care enough to make them a daily habit. Even the concept of boundaries, saying no, maintaining financial independence, or steering clear of toxic individuals, can be approached incrementally. You don't have to overhaul your entire social circle overnight or cut off all sources of negativity in a single day. Instead, Consider setting a firm boundary with just one person who frequently takes advantage of your kindness. Or start by examining one aspect of your finances, like a small monthly expense you could redirect into a savings account for medical care. Each step forward builds momentum, and before long, you'll look back and realize you've transformed how you approach your later years, focusing not on simply existing, but on living with vitality and integrity. Dr. Chen encourages feedback, saying it can be tremendously helpful to share experiences with others on the same journey. He's a big believer in community support. Ironic, perhaps, for someone who emphasizes the importance of learning to say no. But to him, there's a distinction between healthy community and draining relationships. A positive network of friends, neighbors, and fellow seniors committed to mutual respect and uplifting each other can become a powerful resource for accountability. They can remind you to do your foot soaks, encourage you to take a mindful moment to massage your underarms, or respect your decision when you need to guard your time or finances. As a final note, Dr. Chen always underscores that while these strategies are a great foundation, they don't replace professional medical advice for specific conditions. If you experience persistent foot issues, severe pain, unexplained lumps under your arms, or if you have chronic illnesses, consult a qualified healthcare provider. These simple routines can complement medical treatments, but they aren't a substitute for appropriate professional care. The synergy between daily self-maintenance and medical expertise is ideal, giving you a more holistic coverage of your needs. Dr. Chen's own career is a testament to bridging modern science with time-honored practices, and he hopes more people will adopt a similarly integrated perspective on their health. In essence, Dr. Chen's life and work convey a message of empowerment. At 92, he still exemplifies curiosity, humility, and excitement for what tomorrow might bring. He's living proof that we don't have to let the passage of time dictate a slow decline into inactivity. Instead, with the right habits and mindsets, we can continue to explore our potential, remain engaged in our communities, and care for our bodies in ways that support a long, healthy, and fulfilling journey. His patients often say that seeing him in his office, still wearing his white coat and chatting cheerfully about simple but potent health habits, gives them a profound sense of hope for their own future. And you can tap into that same sense of possibility by focusing on the small things, like how you treat your feet and underarms, and how you navigate social dynamics, finances, and emotional health as you grow older. If you find these tips intriguing, you're not alone. Many people discover that embracing them one step at a time leads to noticeable improvements. Maybe fewer foot cramps, decreased foot pain, or a surprising reduction in the frequency of colds and mild infections. Some might even realize that they gain a new sense of self-efficacy, understanding that actions taken today, even if they're small, can chart a more vibrant course for tomorrow. Dr. Chen's approach is a wonderful antidote to the often overwhelming health advice we hear these days, which can feel complicated or expensive. Instead, he teaches that real well-being lies in everyday choices made consistently and conscientiously. He's also quite candid that living well after 60, 70, or 80 may require shifting mental attitudes. Society sometimes sends messages that older adults should step aside, reduce their involvement, or simply wait out their remaining years passively. Dr. Chen's example, and that of many of his patients, shows the folly of that assumption. Remaining active, setting boundaries, investing in your health, and never underestimating the importance of basic routines can all radically improve your quality of life. It's not about refusing to accept that we age. Rather, it's about acknowledging that aging can be approached with grace, dignity, and even excitement. There might be new limitations, but there can also be newfound wisdom, freedom from certain social pressures, and the satisfaction of sharing your life experiences with younger generations. In his quiet, unassuming way, Dr. Chen is part of a growing number of voices reshaping our cultural narrative about aging. Instead of painting a grim picture of declining faculties and unending hospital visits, he showcases a model where you still move with confidence, keep a bright mind, and take the initiative to preserve your well-being. He acknowledges that genetics play a role, but in his view, our daily choices can substantially override or mitigate genetic predispositions. Even for someone dealing with chronic issues, adopting these small beneficial habits can help manage symptoms and slow progression, allowing for a higher quality of life. He's often asked if it's ever too late to start. His response is invariably positive. No, it's never too late. He has had patients in their 80s who adopted new foot care regimens, and within a few months felt improvements in circulation and reduced foot discomfort. Some individuals in their 70s began gentle lymphatic massage of their underarms, switched to natural deodorants, and observed improvements in frequent colds or in their general vigor. These changes aren't usually dramatic overnight miracles, but they add up. Dr. Chen likes to remind people that if you begin to care for yourself better at 75, that might extend your active and comfortable years well into your 80s and 90s or beyond. So, if anything in Dr. Chen's story resonates with you, now might be the perfect time to experiment with his methods. Start with your feet tonight. Soak them in warm water. Wash them gently, dry them carefully, and give yourself a brief, soothing massage, paying attention to how each part of your foot feels. Notice if you feel more relaxed afterward, or if your feet feel warmer and less tense. Do the same with your underarms in the morning. Use a mild soap, rinse thoroughly, and finish with cool water. Dry completely, and opt for a natural deodorant if you can. Maybe incorporate a minute or two of gentle upward massage toward the collarbones. After a week or two, assess your well-being. Are you sleeping better, feeling calmer, or noticing subtle energy shifts? If the answer is yes, continue refining these routines. If you don't notice much difference at first, keep going. Sometimes changes manifest slowly, or you might need to adjust temperature, timing, or specific massage techniques. The key is to stay open and curious, approaching these practices not as chores, but as an investment in your future. Alongside foot and armpit care, reflect on Dr. Chen's advice about setting boundaries, selecting friends thoughtfully, safeguarding your finances, and cultivating a spirit of tolerance and compassion within your family. See if gradually applying these suggestions frees up mental space or emotional energy, releasing you from unwarranted worries or draining entanglements. It can be helpful to keep a small journal or log for a few weeks, jotting down any notable changes in your mood, sleep, physical comfort, or social experiences. Sometimes, real progress slips under our radar when we're busy or have grown used to a baseline level of discomfort. Writing things down can help us see improvements that we might otherwise overlook. Additionally, sharing the journey with a friend or family member can provide mutual encouragement. You might spur each other on to stay consistent, compare foot care techniques, or recommend natural deodorant brands. Above all, remember that Dr. Chen's message is fundamentally one of empowerment. The prospect of living well into advanced age isn't reserved for a lucky few. Whether you're 40, 60, 80, or more, there is always a step you can take today to support your mind and body. The specifics: warm soaks, gentle soaps, thorough drying, mindful massage, natural products, are all easily accessible to most people, requiring minimal resources or specialized equipment. The real ingredient for success lies in your willingness to incorporate these steps into your daily routine. Aging can be an adventure, filled with new perspectives and opportunities for growth. Rather than viewing each passing year as a loss, you can frame it as a chance to refine your self-care practices, build closer and more uplifting relationships, and become a source of wisdom and stability for those around you. Dr. Chen has spent decades bearing witness to these transformations in his patients, and he continues to live that philosophy himself, showing that vitality in your 90s is not merely a pipe dream. It is, in fact, an attainable reality for those willing to embrace a mindful, proactive approach to health. With that in mind, take a moment to imagine yourself at a more advanced age, still able to travel, maintain hobbies, spend quality time with loved ones, and maybe even inspire younger generations with your zest for life. That vision is well within your reach if you begin laying the groundwork now. True, none of us can guarantee how many years we'll get on this planet, but we do have a fair amount of influence over how we experience those years, whether they are fraught with preventable ailments or enriched by clarity, comfort, and engagement. And if you find yourself resonating with Dr. Chen's teachings, don't hesitate to share them with others. Perhaps you have a neighbor, a friend, or a family member who struggles with foot pain or recurrent infections, or who might be feeling lonely and uncertain about how to navigate aging. Offering them these simple insights, like the importance of foot massage, the benefits of gentle underarm care, or the wisdom of boundary setting, could be the spark that lifts them from despair to hope. We often underestimate the value of such practical knowledge, yet it can be profoundly life-changing, especially for those who feel they have nowhere else to turn. The next time you're stepping out of the shower, take a mindful moment to thank your feet for all they do and care for them attentively. When you're applying deodorant, choose a method that respects your body's natural processes rather than blocking them. In your social circles, Be discerning about where you invest your trust and emotional energy. Don't overlook the power of small, repeated actions. These can become the building blocks of a life well lived, right up until your final chapters. If you've listened to this account of Dr. Chen and his strategies, and you're intrigued by the possibility that something as modest as foot care and armpit care could significantly enhance your health trajectory, then you're exactly the type of person for whom these suggestions are intended. You don't need to adopt every single tip overnight, but by just trying out one or two, you can begin to shift the balance toward greater well-being. And as you accumulate positive results, you might find yourself becoming a bit like Margaret or Helen or Robert, each of whom discovered that small, consistent changes can catalyze remarkable transformations in daily life. Thank you for journeying through these insights into Dr. Chen's approach to aging gracefully and staying active and healthy into your later years. Whether you're 30 or 90, or caring for someone who is, these lessons have the potential to spark meaningful improvements. It's often the simplest routines that yield some of the most profound rewards. So keep your mind open, keep your heart willing, and never underestimate the synergy of gentle habits repeated every day. If you try even one aspect of this approach and see a benefit, you'll have taken a powerful step toward securing a future filled with energy, purpose, and resilience. I hope these ideas help you or someone close to you live a more vibrant and fulfilling life. Starting today, if you feel inspired to share your experiences, feel free to let us know what happens when you incorporate this advice. And don't forget, there's always more to discover about keeping yourself well. Even small details of self-care can unlock new levels of well-being that most people never access. I'd love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions you might have as you begin integrating Dr. Chen's wisdom into your routine. Until next time, wishing you the best of health, a strong sense of autonomy, and the joy of knowing that every small choice you make can ripple out into larger transformations. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.